Have you ever found yourself in a situation where the truth is stranger than fiction? Zenos, the healer everyone thought was useless, now finds himself at the center of a plot full of kidnappings, magic, and redemption. When a mysterious vice commander of the Royal Knights, Krishna, shows up at his clinic, she's looking for a mediator who managed to end the war between factions. But what she doesn't know is that this mediator is none other than Zenos himself. Hey there, my friend. How's it going? All good? Just dropping by real quick to ask you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos, and leave a comment if there's any anime you'd like to see here. Alright, no more stalling. Let's get into the video. Krishna reveals that she's investigating a major case, but she's also after a child kidnapping and suspects Zenos to be the culprit. He pushes back, saying he actually saved the kid, and Krishna realizes she misjudged him, apologizing right away. She thinks Zenos should be passed out after taking a bullet, but thanks to his defensive magic, he walks away unscathed. Even so, she finds it odd, since her shot shouldn't have been blocked that easily, and she starts suspecting that he's a powerful mage. During their talk, Zenos puts up a sign to keep people from coming in. Krishna explains that she came to the slums to capture someone, the mediator who ended the war between the three factions. She believes this mediator is dangerous, but Zenos argues that maybe he's just hiding. He defends the mediator, saying he simply hates seeing people get hurt. Krishna then decides to stay at the clinic since there's an extra bed. She even tries to stir up some jealousy, going as far as sitting on Zenos' lap, but ends up dozing off in the middle of her own teasing. Later, Krishna asks about the possibility of regenerating an arm since she saw Zofia, whom she herself had injured, completely recovered. That's when Krishna opens up about her past. She lost her mother in the slums when she was robbed and killed, and that pushed her to become the youngest vice commander in the history of the Royal Knights, earning the nickname Iron Rose. When Krishna leaves, Zofia shows up and gets healed, but Krishna comes back and runs into her. Zofia reveals that the child trafficking ring is actually run by a noble named Calendar. Krishna refuses to believe it, since he's well known for helping orphans. Zofia insists, saying the mediator doesn't judge by appearances, and would even help Krishna if she were ever hurt. Zenos then reveals that he is, in fact, the mediator, but Krishna just doesn't buy it and leaves. She heads to Calendar's mansion to check the security, and ends up finding children locked up inside a well. Before she can act, Calendar shoots her. As he gets ready to finish her off, Zenos and Zofia arrive. Calendar fires at Zenos, but his magic barrier shields him. Zenos disarms the noble and shoots him back with his limiter on, sparing his life. Wounded, Krishna tells Zenos to call the knights, but instead, he heals her, going as far as regenerating her arm, proving once and for all that he really is the mediator. He tells her nobody's perfect, but that in the eyes of the children, she's also a hero. Overcome with emotion, Krishna realizes that no matter the flaws, her mother will always be her hero. In the end, they save the children and slip out before the Royal Knights arrive. Krishna asks why he saved her, and Zenos replies that she still has to pay for the bed, and now also for the healing, which makes her laugh. The story then shifts back to the moment when Aston first found Zenos on the street. Aston invites him to join the group, but Zenos, coming from the poor back alleys, thinks someone like him could never become an adventurer. Aston tells him that status doesn't matter if you've got skills, and asks if Zenos can do anything useful. Zenos admits he's skilled in healing magic, but Aston doesn't really buy it. Even so, he takes Zenos along, not because he trusts him, but because he just wanted someone to use as a servant in practice. Not long after, we see Aston fighting a wolf. Without anyone noticing, Zenos secretly heals their wounds, allowing Aston to finish the beast off with his sword. Still, Aston thinks Zenos is useless and dismisses him. He then continues with the rest of the party to take on a job for a noble named Fennel. They want to wrap up the mission quickly and get back to the baby. On the way, they run into magical creatures, and Aston orders Guile to cast a defensive spell. Aston charges forward against the monsters, but one of them burns his arm. He notices that one of his companions is about to be devoured, and orders the mage, Andres, to use offensive magic. But the mage is frozen in fear, which makes Aston think about kicking him out too. He presses Guile about the defensive barrier, and Guile insists he's already maintaining it, though it clearly doesn't seem to be working. The group is forced to retreat. Aston complains that they're struggling against B-rank monsters, but Andres fires back that Aston hasn't exactly done much either. Guile, a bit suspicious, wonders if maybe it was Zenos who had been secretly healing everyone before. Aston thinks that's impossible, but admits they do need a healer. They end up hiring a girl named Umin and head back into the cave. She finds the request odd, since the group is famous for always coming out of battles without a single injury. But Aston just says a lot has happened. They ask about the companion who was nearly devoured, and Umin tells them he'll survive, but he'll never be able to be an adventurer again. Aston doesn't care, saying he wasn't strong enough anyway. When they return to the cave, the beasts greet them with fireballs. Andres gets hit, and Umin warns that he might die if he doesn't get proper treatment. The group is forced to retreat once again. Aston accuses Guile of not keeping up the defense, but Umin points out that without his barrier, Andres would have died on the spot. Still, She warns that the wounded man needs to be taken to a hospital, since not even high-level healers could save him in that environment. Aston starts to wonder if it was actually Zenos who had been healing everyone before, since ever since he left, the party keeps getting injured. He tries to deny it to himself, but soon receives a visit from Fennel's butler carrying a letter. Aston is forbidden from showing his face before the noble ever again. The butler explains that if Aston had admitted the job was too much, Fennel could have found another gift for his daughter's birthday party. Aston tries to blame Zenos, but realizes he never officially announced that Zenos was even part of the team. He begs for another chance, promising to hire new members. But Guile thinks it's a bad idea, since there's no real plan. Aston then makes the smartest choice he's made so far. He decides to go look for Zenos. As they head to the slums, Guile asks how they're supposed to even find him. Aston wants to hire the 3 demi-human leaders for help. He seeks out Zofia first, but she laughs when she hears he was the one who kicked Zenos out, and tells him to go back home, saying the doctor has far more important things to do. Frustrated, Aston backs off, knowing he's no match for her. He then tries with Liga and Loe, only to get the same answer. Loe even threatens him, saying the orcs will punish him if he dares bother the doctor. At first, Aston thinks that when they call him doctor, they can't possibly mean Zenos. But then he sees Zenos himself walking alongside Lily. He approaches him. Zenos, surprised, says he's busy and starts to leave. Aston explains that he came to bring him back to the group, but Zenos refuses. He says that if Aston is that desperate, he might help with a mission someday, but only if he's paid. Aston then tries to belittle him, claiming he doesn't even have a place of his own in the slums, but is shocked when several people in the street start thanking Zenos. Aston reminds him that he once gave him a chance, but Zenos doesn't care and walks away. Furious, Aston tries to attack him from behind, but gets shot by Christian. Zenos asks her what she's doing there, and she says she came looking for him but got lost. Christian then decides to arrest Aston, who blames Guile and flees. Back at the clinic, Zenos talks with the others and learns that Aston had already gone to see each of them. They even sent men to tail him, but lost track of him. Zenos figures he probably went home. Zofia bets he might have gone to the underground guild where anyone can pick up work as long as the pay is good. Carmilla adds that if Aston came looking for Zenos, it's a clear sign he's broke and can't afford to hire anyone there. Zofia adds that there's a man named Guide who takes on jobs under certain conditions, even without pay. Later that night, Guile notices Zenos is still awake. She makes some tea and gently strokes his head, telling him he's always the one looking out for her. When she falls asleep, Carmilla asks if he's restless because of Aston. He admits it's out of concern. She then asks how he learned healing magic in the slums. Zenos explains that it all started when he tried to revive a corpse, something strictly forbidden. Surprised, Carmilla reveals that in life, people used sorcery to create golems that worked endlessly and felt no pain. Suddenly the ground shakes, and when she goes to check, she's stunned to see a golem tearing through the entire slum. We learn that the golem was created by Guide at someone's request, with the sole purpose of eliminating Zenos. He sees it as the perfect chance to test his creation. Zenos and Carmilla rush to the shantytown where the 3 leaders appear, furious that the golem has attacked their people. Zenos explains it's an artificial creature, made with magic that was thought lost long ago. Loe says an orc saw a golem emerging from the depths of the slums, making Zenos suspect the underground guild. But this isn't the time to worry about that. He orders everyone to gather the wounded so he can heal them. From a distance, Guide watches, thinking the golem could be improved, but confident it's already more than enough to kill Zenos. While he treats everyone, Zenos grows frustrated at not being paid for his efforts, and worried about Lily. Carmilla comments that the golem's core is made from an extremely rare magic stone, only found far in the south, and supposedly destroyed during the Demon War. It makes no sense for someone to have all the components to create one now. They decide to face it head-on. Carmilla explains the only way to defeat it is by destroying the magic stone at its core. Zenos tells them to target the legs, while he provides support. They manage to topple the golem, but it regenerates instantly. Lily gets thrown aside, but comes out unharmed thanks to Zenos' healing magic. He remembers he has to stay close to keep his spells effective, and that he can't use multiple incantations at once. During the fight, Zenos sees the golem nearly fall on a child, but for some reason, it chooses not to crush her. Carmilla is shocked. A golem shouldn't have free will. Zenos realizes the core is on the left side of its chest, and that Aston is inside it. He figures out that someone fused a human with a magic stone to create the core, and Aston was the perfect candidate, since all he carried were negative emotions. The only way to win is to kill him. Zenos tells the others to get out, but they refuse. He reminds them that a healer isn't supposed to be on the front lines, but he knows he's the only one who can end this fight. Before attacking, he remembers that Aston saved the child and recalls his past. Aston lost his sister because he didn't have the money for medicine. That's why he always chased after power and wealth. Zenos slices off the golem's arm, tears open its chest, and finds Aston inside. He tells him this will be the last time they see each other, and strikes. But while cutting through the magic stone, he heals Aston at the same time. Guide is shocked. Zenos had already healed hundreds, and yet he still manages to save Aston. Aston asks why he was spared. Zenos says he needs to know who's behind everything and that he'll charge him dearly for it. And despite everything, Aston was the one who pulled him out of the slums. It was Aston who gave him the gold coin that ended up saving Lily and allowing him to open his clinic. But above all, he's just doing his job as a healer. After destroying the stone, Aston admits that Zenos was always incredible, and that the party only worked because of him. He apologizes, but Zenos simply tells him to get up, because he's going to hit him while he's standing. Then he lands a devastating punch that sends Aston flying. Later, Aston wakes up to find himself being arrested by Krishna, who says Zenos told her everything. She informs him that he lost his sword to pay for the damages, but Zenos left behind another gold coin. Aston realizes he's lost everything, and regrets ever throwing Zenos out. Meanwhile, Zenos is exhausted, but his friends help him back home. When they arrive, Carmilla says she was looking forward to being alone with him, but Lily gives her away. She was so worried she'd been floating around the house the whole time. In the end, she smiles and welcomes Zenos back. And that's where we wrap up this part of the anime. So, what did you think? Did you like it? Hit that like button, leave a comment to let me know what you're thinking, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. Also, check out this video I'm leaving right here for you. That's it for today. I'll catch you in the next anime. See ya.